Might as well. Yeah,
I just
yeah,
actually I just hit it, so there we go.
Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to Sunday night GR86 action. And we find ourselves in a land down under, more importantly, what's now known as the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, also known as the Bend, just 100 kilometres south of Adelaide, the state capital of South Australia, for the final round of this season of the Only Hands Toyota Gazoo Racing GR86 Challenge Cup, with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and my partner in crime, who's also manning the cameras. A very good evening, Mr. Jim Cunningham. Jim, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, man. Good to be here. Kind of excited to see this track. I haven't really spent any time here at all. Haven't raced it, so haven't broadcast it. So it's going to be interesting, pretty fun. I love Australian racetracks for some reason, just in general.
Well, a little bit of history about this circuit. It measures just over 2.1 miles in length, opened back in January of 2008, so one of the newest locations for modern-day motorsport. It has hosted the Bend 500 and Super Sprint events on the Supercars Championship, TCR World Tour and Australia, GT World Challenge Australia, Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia, and a whole lot more. But let's bring you up the scores on the doors coming into the final event of this particular season. Going into the pro side of things, Daniel Wareham leads the way on, well, it says, according to the points on the Tanso Racing Group site that I've got here, which will go by 405 points for Daniel Wareham. Dan Forster.
That's before adjustments for penalties. If you look at the column to
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Jim.
The only reason I know that's because I typed them in a few hours ago.
No worries a day. So, Daniel Wareham on 366, Dan Forster 333, Lee Martin on 321, so the title is still up for grabs with 2 races to go. Matt Benson, Ryan Dudley ran out the top 5, ahead of Cameron Frederick, Rick Wishon, and also Sean Atkinson. Meantime, in the AM side of things, it's Simon McPhee that leads the way on 271 points, ahead of Joseph Lopez. Connor Pink no longer taking part in the series. I'm sure you're watching along as he isn't racing. Have a great race, guys. He's on dad duties now, so good luck to you and Sophie on the newborn due imminently. Egolf Satiro and Adrian Hadfield ran out the top 5, ahead of Curtis Matthews, Jake DeGrand, JT Johnston, Mickey Dolan, Terry Atkinson and Michael Champlin rounding out the running orders. We're coming into the final 2 minutes of qualifying. If you missed out on the Monza Historic Racing Pinball Wizardry we had 7 days ago, the Bend is going to provide a spectacular finale here, Jim. But more to the point, Daniel Wareham is doing his best thing, putting his best foot forward, and he is quickest around the circuit on just under a 1:29.
Yeah, actually, the top 2 are separated by 1/100th of a second. So, yeah, they are they're getting around here pretty good from the lap times that I've seen and other things. You've got the top 8 guys all within a second of each other, and so that's pretty impressive.
Oh, Connor, congratulations! Born last Thursday, mate. I'm watching while the boy is asleep.
Yes,
bless.
Congratulations, man.
Please, you know what, Connor? Send me a DM on Discord and let me know whether it's a boy or a girl, the name, and also the weight of yours and Sophie's new addition to the family. There's Lee Martin, currently sitting P5 overall on a 1:29.450, as we are just under 60 seconds to go here in this qualifying session. This is the West Circuit variation, so it's got 12 turns in all, a very long start-finish straight coming out of turn 12 and into turn 1. And even though these cars are based on the production vehicle of the Toyota GR86 and feature as part of the support bracket for GT World Challenge Americas powered by AWS, they still have those wonderful, very throaty 2-litre inline turbocharged 4-cylinder engines. As we ride on board with Lee Martin at the moment, you can see there's a lot of runoff area, a lot of grass. So there could be a bit of mowing with the front splitters here, Jim, as we approach the end of time qualifying.
I can't imagine that we're going to have any off tracks. It'll never happen. Yeah, we're gonna have some very expensive lawnmowers out here shortly, I think.
Yes, indeed. So Daniel Wareham puts it on pole position for the first of two races. It's going to be a 20-minute sprint. Then we have an inverted top five for the 25-minute feature here at the Bend Motorsports Park. Here's your starting grid for race one out of two here tonight. 20 minutes on the clock. It'll be Daniel Wareham versus Matt Benson on the front row. Dan Forster and Michael Dolan will be on row number 2. Lee Martin and Alan McCain will be on row 3, ahead of Simon McPhee and Joseph Lopez rounding out row 4. Completing the top 10 will be Jake DeGrand and Egolf Satira, with John Johnston rounding out your 11-strong grid. The field now starting to ready up on the circuit. And very shortly indeed, we will be getting underway with the lights on here. And thank you very much, Connor. It's a boy, his name is Axel, and he was born at 7 pounds 9 ounces. So congratulations to you and to Sophie on welcoming Axel to the world here. But there is the 373, the man who is 2 races away from picking up the pro title for the Only Hands GR86 Championship in association with Tanso Racing Group. Echo in the chat saying go Dan Wareham. Of course, a big thank you for Only Hands for being the title sponsors. They are their mission is to create a level starting grid for sim racing and for sim racers with disabilities requiring adaptive controls. Matt Benson from Valhalla Motorsports has not got long to put himself on the grid on the outside of the first row in P2. He won, I think it was race 1 at Monza last week. So effectively, there is an opportunity for this man to get himself into the top 3 by season's end. There's the car on the starting grid. The 5 red lights will now start to ignite here at the Bend Motorsports Park in South Australia. As we are lights out, we're underway. Good start from Daniel Wareham, slow start from Matt Benson as he gets passed on the inside by Dan Forster. Looks like Michael Dolan trying to make his run into the very long run into turn 1. It's a 90 right here, and then it's going to be through a quick myriad of corners. Now they will head into turn 2. Connor Pink cheering on Joseph Lopez, who's currently in 9th at the moment, as they head into the sweeping part at turn 3. And now it's on to the back part of the circuit. All the drivers in a row at the moment as they head through into the left-hand kink here at turn 5. The right-hand kink, the left-hand kink, sorry, here at turn 5. Try and get your directions right there, Alex. Don't stop using Google Maps. Now it's going to be the hard braking zone into turn number 6 before it's a double right-hander going through into 6 and 7. Then a short run into the left-hander here at 8. And then down the dip into 9. And then it's going to be the run up towards turns 10 and 11 before 2 successive right-handers brings us around to complete the opening lap of this 20-minute sprint race here. Joseph Lopez trying to put a move on Jake DeGrand going into the the penultimate corner. Joseph goes grass mowing and kicks up the gravel as well whilst he's at it, and that puts Egolf Satiro through as Lopez nearly finds John Johnston up the inside as we come across to complete the opening lap. And Daniel Wareham has got a good lead at the moment ahead of Dan Forster and Michael Dolan. The top 3 covered by 1.3 seconds after the opening tour here at the Bend.
Yeah, he took off a typical Dan Wareham fashion. He doesn't give you much time to stick with him, and if there's any battling going on behind him, he takes full advantage of that. But there are a couple of nice little battles going on here. This little battle for third place overall, or second place overall, and first place for the AMs, Mickey Dolan and Dan Foster. That's a nice little battle. And also got McCain in there swinging it out wide, way wide.
That's an off-track cut if ever I saw one there, Jim. But yeah, McCain is closing in on Dolan, and he's diving up the inside. That's going to be a beautiful move if he makes it stick, but unfortunately, Dolan has the overspeed coming through the left-hander and manages to make it stick to his favour. And once again, Dolan holding on to the P3. It is just absolutely brilliant seeing these cars go down the dip here. Look at the descent here at the bend. There is a significant elevation change here or there, but it is going to be the case that Daniel Wareham is leading Forster, but Forster is now starting to close that gap. It's half a second as they come out of turn 12 and down the very long start-finish straight. And a fastest lap by Dan Forster. He's got the gap down to about 0.4 of a second. 1:28.642 for the second place number 300 as they filter their way at high speed. McCain on Dolan once again. They've got Benson there for close company. And there is also Martin in the background. So a 4-horse race battling over P3 at the moment. But more to the point, Mr. Matt Benson from Valhalla Motorsports is currently sitting in the position that will net him the pole position top 5 invert for the 25-minute feature coming up next.
I'll tell you what, I'm not sure what happened there with Wareham, but of course he and Foster do this quite a bit. But Foster is right on his bumper. Sometimes Wareham will slow down and wait for Foster, and then they'll take off together and kind of tow each other around the track. Which seems to be a team strategy of theirs. But I'll tell you what, I've got to make a change on these cameras when we get a break here. These things are doing nothing but shooting through the walls. I'll be on a new track, obviously. There's some of I guess iRacing still has to get some of their camera angles worked out.
Yeah, but great to see the helicam shot there. There is Michael Dolan versus Alan McCain as they come out of the final corner once again here at turn 12. And you can see it is a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Forster is now losing time to Wareham at the minute. The gap between them is about 0.7 of a second as they will have just gone through turns 1 and 2. Hard on the brakes goes McCain.
Oh.
So does Benson into T1. They nearly end up having the big one there through turn 1 and 2. But at the moment, Dolan keeping himself very, very calm and composed and not making any mistakes at the minute, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah, and I honestly thought there for a second it looked like McCain was going to get in the back of Dolan, but he did a good job. He kept the car off of him, and he really didn't choke down his momentum too much at all. So, I would say that was probably his target braking zone. I think he was still in his comfort zone there. It just looked a little scary from our perspective. Yeah,
it can be the case as, well, I think probably for the folks at home, Jim, we might want to show some interval gaps because we're still showing lap times at the moment.
We probably do. Would y'all like to see that? Hold on, let me get you some of those. There we go.
There we go. So
I was enjoying them over here on my screen, just nobody else was getting to.
I was like thinking, okay, right. But the thing is that Jim and I, we've been working together for quite a bit now here on JPB, which is always a blast. If you can hear the sort, well, we I think I've got a nickname for you. You are our resident Texan Zach Brown in terms of your dulcet tones, my good friend. Of course, congratulations to Zach and the team at McLaren for Silverstone this weekend. If you haven't watched the Formula One Grand Prix for the UK, I'll leave you all to have a think about who's won. But I'm not going to give any spoilers away because I'm not that kind of person. But it is really getting close and personal. You can see here, now it's nearly... now, who is... So we got Lee Martin.
Yep.
In the Turtle Speed Race. Oh, I love the manga style livery on the side of that car. It makes it pop underneath, over the top of the body in white. Now, for those wondering what body in white terminology is, it's basically if you order a new car from a major manufacturer, body in white is when the primer and the electrolysis coating has been put on the car to stop it from rusting. So there you go. There's your terminology for the night. A little bit of learning here on Sunday. But yeah, Lee Martin trying to do what he can. Matt Benson, however, has managed to get his way up into third position. He's just managed to get through on Alan McCain, who's straight back at him. And now it's going to be the run into the next corner. So this will be, I think... That's turn 12 that they're just coming out of. So Benson leading the charge for P3, but McCain right on his rear bumper, bump drafting like you would do on an oval, and he's right with them. He's nudging the back bumper of the 369 from Valhalla Motorsports. Dolan's going to be late on the brakes, Martin late on the brakes. Benson turns it in nice and neatly through turn 1 and sweeps through on the apex of the left-hander here at 2 before the hard braking zone at 3. Dolan looking to stick his nose up the inside of McCain. Nearly ends up having Martin rear-end him, and Martin might get the crossover as they go through into turn 4. Dolan might give him a little bit of a squeeze into 5. This could mean that Martin, if he brakes late enough for turn 6, he will have the inside line, but Nolan is just a fraction ahead. He's later on the brakes, but will he go deep? He runs wide. Martin up the inside on the sausage curbs. They are still side by side. Through turn 7, Martin might have the run, but through into the next left-hander. Dolan holds on to 5th.
Wow, that was a great little battle right there. That whole sequence was really, really cool. Let's see here. Try to find a camera that works other than the helicam.
Yeah, well, Lee Martin has managed to now...
No.
Lee Martin's just dropped it. He's dropped that big time. That would have been through turn 11. And unfortunately for him, that has now dropped him back down to 7th position. He got through on Dolan, was up to P5, then made a bit of a pig's ear of it, to be honest with you. Meantime, Forster looking up the inside of Wareham into turn number 1 as we are about to hit the halfway point. The two Simtech drivers wheel to wheel. Now going through into the left-hander here at turn 2. Forster's got the inside line for 3. Will he get the move done? Yes! Forster now takes the lead just before the halfway point ahead of Simtech teammate Daniel Wareham. There are battles between teammates. There are battles between everybody, because the main thing is Wareham and Forster might be teammates under the same awning. However, they are battling for the pro title. And it means that if Wareham finishes either in front or just behind Forster, I think he'll have the title wrapped up by the end of race 2 tonight. So Wareham has got to get a little bit of a wriggle on as they come through out of turn 3. They come out of... I think that was... I'm not too sure what turn that was, to be honest with you. It's a new track for me to learn as well. Looks like we are running up towards turn 6, possibly. But Wareham, right on the rear of Forster. Into 6 they go. And then it's the short run up into the next right-hander at 7. But it's just so difficult. With,
these cameras.
It's a bit frustrating with these cameras, unfortunately, folks. We're doing our best to give you the action. Well, I know Jim definitely is... you're going to be wearing your knuckles to the bone by the end of this broadcast, my friend.
Oh my gosh! It just dropped iRacing just dropped the signal completely.
Okay, we have had got a slight technical issue.
We'll be back in here in a second. It just kicked out of the session, so we'll jump right back in. Everything should be fine. Just shouldn't take more than maybe 60 seconds at the most. These cameras are a wee bit frustrating. I'm fixing to do something I would never do. I'm going to pull the iRacing UI up and change the cameras pack so that we get something that's usable, because at this point we're missing half the action trying to look through hills. So once this thing pops back in, we'll get this squared away right away.
I take it we're muted at the moment, yes?
No, we're still talking. We're still trying to entertain everyone.
Well, at least if we can provide... Well, I would try and provide a musical interlude, but that probably wouldn't be that helpful at this moment in time, because if I started singing, then we probably would get a copyright strike at the moment.
Right.
However,
James would love that. All right.
Explosive Lopez has just dropped it, and that has allowed Jake DeGrand to get through. Now, this is the battle between Martin DeGrand and Lopez for 7th, 8th, and 9th at the moment. Right. So please bear with us while we've got the graphics on the screen for the iRacing side of things. But there we go. Right, 12 minutes completed out of the 20. And then we'll have a brief warm-up session. But in the meantime, Dan Forster is leading. The drivers battling over 7th, 8th and 9th. Still making their way down the start-finish straight, whereas Daniel Wareham, behind Dan Forster, is currently going through into turn 3. Battle for third place at the moment between Valhalla Motorsports, Matt Benson and Alan McCain. So this is a, good battle for the final step on the pro rostrum at the minute. So Alan McCain doing a good job keeping Mr. Benson in check. I'm sure that Matt Benson probably thinks, Jim, that now we have got the two at the front of the field. They were battling to and fro there, going into, I think, turn 6, and I thought Wareham nearly had a move done on Forster, but Forster managed to keep it around the outside of him to hold on to that race lead. So this is getting very, very crucial now. But Wareham, I think, is in a pretty good spot at the moment. I think Lee Martin's opportunity at a title run is going to be at an end, but Wareham is going to look up the inside through on Forster. Lead retaken by the pole sitter, the 373. As we go back down, this is going to be going through into turn 12. And once again, Daniel Wareham now leads Dan Forster. At this point, Jim, if I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm sure you'll probably share the same sentiment, that I'd rather be where Dan Forster is at the moment because Daniel Wareham has got no assistance.
I agree, and I think he's fixing to get his move done right here, or he's certainly going to give a run at it. There he goes, right around the inside. But I don't know that he's going to pull it off here.
Well, he's going to get the inside line for 3, so let's see what happens. Yep, Forster back through by a bonnet, the front hood length on his GR86. But we've next up got turn 5, so that's going to give the inside line to Wareham, who's going to pull ahead. Then through into turn 6, depending on where Wareham places the car, if he decides to go a bit brave, Forster could outbrake him into turn 6. He tries to do so on the sausage curb. Wareham runs wide, manages to get back on track going through into turn 7. Forster nearly clips the rear bumper. But look at what this is doing. Benson and McCain are coming into the fray. The top 4 now covered by just over 1.3 seconds. So this now gives an opportunity for maybe Benson and McCain here, Jim, to put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons when it comes to Messrs. Wareham and Forster, who are leading the way at the moment.
Yeah, these two, I've really never seen these two battle before. This is great. You know, like I've always, all season long, I've kind of wanted to see this because they run 1-2 so much, and they've never really pushed the issue too much, I guess, trying to protect championship and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it seems like they've resigned that they're going to go ahead and fight it out. Look at Benson's all over the place back there. What?
That definitely was not warming tyres there, Mr. Benson.
Man.
He's nearly into the rear bumper of Dan Forster through into T1. That's going to allow Alan McCain to try and see if he can do the crossover on the Valhalla Motorsports driver. I'm sure that Matt Benson probably thinks he's a closet Viking, having the Valhalla Motorsports name emblazoned in chrome gold amidst the black background on his GR86. But we are coming down to the final 4 minutes, and Forster, he has to avoid, he has to go to the left. Goes wide, coming out of turn 6, and more to the point, through 7. Forster lost a little bit of time. Benson is there, McCain is there. Any one of this quartet of drivers at the front end of the field, and Connor Pigg, Connor, I understand. Haven't raced this track yet, but it seems like a bit of a draft fest. Especially going down the long start-finish straight. But look at Matt Benson. Forster, is he going to make it through? No, he doesn't. Forster keeps the inside line through turn number 11, and now it's going to be the run out of the final corner. We're running on effectively 1 minute, call it a 1 minute 30 in terms of lap time. So 3.5 minutes to go gives us 3 laps of racing. And now Wareham has bolted away from Forster. Benson to the inside, down the start-finish straight. How late on the brakes will he dare to go into turn number 1? He ducks back behind Forster to get a little bit of slipstream through into 1. Now into the left here at 2. And then into the right-hand hairpin here at 3. Then it's on the power again. A quick shuffle through the right-hand kink here at 4 before the sweeping left at turn 5, where you are accelerating up the gears and fully on the power. Alan McCain is waiting in the wings to see if Matt Benson from Valhalla Motorsports makes a mistake as they go up to the very, very tight left right-hander here at turn 6. Benson has to go left to avoid Forster, and that's allowed McCain possibly to go up the inside. Benson still holds on to it, runs wide coming out of 6, goes through into 7, holding on to P3, as we have next up our penultimate lap of the race here for race 1 out of 2 this evening. Jim, we have got an absolute cracker here between the top 4.
Absolutely, the best race of the season so far. We've never, they always run close together, but the top 4 running like this, back and forth, swapping positions, this is fantastic.
So they come down the descent from turn number 11 through into turn number 12. We could be very, very much on the bubble. So it is going to be 2 laps remaining. So Wareham leads. The gap between him and Forster is closing. Benson is closing in as well. McCain being left a little bit in the doldrums, just behind in 4th. You can see as they brake hard. Oh, that was a bit too deep on the brakes from Matt Benson. Alan McCain looked to the inside through at turn number 1. But Benson able to hold his line, hit the apex, nail it and get the power out of the corner. You can see that by how hard they are braking, Jim, how deep the noses drop down under braking pressure.
Yeah, well, these cars are notorious for body roll and stuff like that, so that's absolutely true. But I'll tell you what, though, I'm not so sure that Benson is sending it as deep as we think he is. I think that's his choice of line, because he's running 3 or 4 laps now. He's off the regular racing line. He's trying to get this big sweeping run out of there to carry more momentum through. At first I thought he was just running it in a little deep or whatever, but if you watch him, it's a repetitive thing. He's doing the same thing at the same places. I believe that's his plan, and it seems to be working, because he is all over the back end of Forster here, which we've never seen this whole season. We haven't seen anybody get up on the back of these front 2.
Till that happened at Monza Historic last week.
That was
something else. We go on to the 14th and final lap here at the Bend for race 1 out of 2. The 20-minute feature is about to have its time elapse as the top 4 make their way down to turn 1 for what is going to be the final time. Forster dives to the inside. Well, it's Benson on the inside of Forster, goes late on the brakes, tries to force the issue, and he keeps the car carrying the speed through. A little bit tighter on the approach into turn 3 by the Valhalla Motorsports car as Alan McKay goes off. Big old wobble for the man in 4th, and he's gone grass cutting with the front splitter. That's him out of the running for any spot on the top 3. But Wareham is doing his best. They've now got the run down to turn 6 for the final time. Forster deep on the brakes. Benson deep on the brakes. They all make the apex. They all run the same width over the white line coming out of turn 6 heading into 7. Now into the double left here at 8 and 9 down the slight descent. Then it's going to be uphill through 10 and then into the right hander here at turn 11. One more corner remains, and the way things are going, it is in the bag here for Dan Wareham at the front end of the field. But more to the point, can Matt Benson pull a little bit of a surprise on Dan Forster? It is going to be the run to the checkered flag out of the final corner. Checkered is waiting. Daniel Wareham picks up the win here at the Bend, race 1. And he does it by just under 0.3 of a second ahead of Dan Forster. Matt Benson, right up until the end, was within 0.65. Oh, Matt Benson decides for a bit of a breakfast spree after the checkered, and then the 2 Simtech drivers collect each other as well. But what can you say about a finish like that, Jim Cunningham?
That was fantastic, man. I'm telling you, the best racing we've seen all season in the series. Absolutely fantastic. I'm kind of almost speechless. It was so good. No, really. Which is rare to leave me speechless. But man, I just did not expect that. The Wareham and Forster have been all season just kind of running away from everybody, and here we had just lead swaps all over the place. Oh my goodness! All right, so let's get our.
We've got a little bit of a warm-up, but let's get the results up on your screens at home, folks. So, that's Don't.
I was trying to predict the overall win here.
Well, never mind. You can always try your best there, my good man. But Daniel Wareham takes the win ahead of Simtech teammate Dan Forster by just 0.281 of a second. 6 tenths covers the top three, with Matt Benson rounding out the podium ahead of Alan McCain. Michael Dolan takes the win in AM in fifth position. Well, it hasn't been a good one for Mickey Dolan. Simon McPhee in second, and well, it's still nip and tuck in between him and Joseph Lopez. Lee Martin's chances at the Only Hands GR86 Pro title have unfortunately come to its inevitable conclusion here in the penultimate race of the season. Joseph Lopez rounds out P3 in AM ahead of Egor Sotiro, Jake DeGrand and John Johnston rounding out the 11 drivers. Everyone made it to the end of the race after 14 incredible, exciting filled laps there, Jim. And
is this McCain's first? This isn't McCain's first week here, is it?
Let me just have a look. I'm going to have a look.
I don't see him in the. He's not classified as a pro or an AM. The way he was driving, you would almost think he had to be a pro.
He's a pro.
Okay.
I've seen him compete in other championships before, so he is not going to score points on this particular occasion. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Whatever happens now, Daniel Wareham, I think, will pretty much wrap up the title in the pro side of things with regards to the way things stand. Now, I do try and check the show race by race, but we don't get we get like one of the race scores up, but we don't get both. I don't think we got both of them up, to be honest with you. However, I think that if Simon McPhee finishes first or second, he in the AM class in the next race, folks, he becomes provisionally our GR86 Only Hands AM champion. Joseph Lopez, he's still got a mountain to climb. But the biggest thing that I see from that perspective is that, it's 45 for a win. Joseph Lopez has had a couple of scores. I mean, his worst scores were at. I'm just having a look here.
Well, he definitely had that one bad race. I'm trying to remember where it was at now.
I think it was. He had a was he at Homestead? I don't think he was, because we had Watkins Glen. I know that the two scores, his worst one according to the apart from a non-score, was actually Monza race 1, where he got pinball wizarded like nobody's business. So I think it's a case that Simon McPhee needs to finish ahead of Joseph Lopez, and he picks up the AM title. Dan Wareham, well, he's got to stay ahead of Dan Forster. No ifs or buts. And then those two people, I think, will be the provisional champions. Once I'm sure that we'll have some sort of confirmation, hopefully post the second race. From one of the administrators. But a big thank you again to Only Hands for their Only Hands Adaptive Sim Racing. They have been the title sponsor for this series. And good thing is...
I was just going to say, we ought to take a second while we've got just a wee bit of time here to talk a little bit about Only Hands. What they're doing is, phenomenal in real world racing. The adaptive controls and things like that. Yep. And then also here in the sim racing world, just to think that we've come that far. I don't know the gentleman's name who races in IMSA, but he's using all the hand controls to drive.
Robert Wickens.
Robert
Wickens.
And they got that big old guy like my size that jerks him out of the car and carries him over and sets him on the pit wall, And it's just amazing that and he's fast, it's not like this is some novelty. The guy is fast,
Definitely. I mean, coming back to Robert Wickens, I remember being a reporter for the Deutsche Tourenwagen Masters when the Canadian was a factory Mercedes AMG Works driver. And I had the opportunity to speak to this man. He's soft-spoken. He's one of the nicest guys you could want to meet, but he's an absolute monster behind the wheel. He took the championship lead in Lausitzring after the second race on the Sunday when we had temperatures of 35 plus degrees centigrade. But we'll talk about Robbie Wickens a little bit later on. Meantime, here is going to be, well, I don't think it's going to be John Johnson that's meant to be starting on pole position unless they've done a full invert. But it's going to be, it looks like it is a full invert on this one. John Johnson and Jake DeGrand will be on the front row. Egol Sotiro, Joseph Lopez, Lee Martin, Simon McPhee, Michael Dolan, Alan McCain, Matt Benson, Dan Forster and Daniel Wareham will be the last few drivers on the grid. So, and it does look like Alan McCain has been shown up as a pro driver. So it comes down to this moment, the season finale for Only Hands GR86 in association with Tanso Racing Group here at the Bend Motorsports Park in South Australia, just south of Adelaide. 5 lights are on, red lights are out. We're underway for the final time here in this season, and it's the rundown to turn 1. John Johnston leads the way. Jake DeGrand to the outside. Oh no, but there's been a tangle in the middle. Sotiro's involved, McPhee involved. Lopez, I think, might have just gone out of that. Well, no, he didn't. He did not.
No,
so Simon McPhee, Michael Dolan. Oh my goodness me! This has changed things quite significantly. But the thing is, John Johnston, who at the moment, looking back at the John Johnston, isn't in title contention for the AM Class crown. But Simon McPhee, if he finishes where he is right now, he will become the AM Series champion. At the moment, Daniel Wareham is ahead of Dan Forster. Alan McCain is now through on John Johnson. Jake DeGrand now in the race lead from second. And then it's nearly a 3-wide exchange. Oh my goodness me. There's Matt Benson up the inside. And he's just got through. Lee Martin nearly gets a punt from Dan Wareham up the rear bumper. Johnson nearly going off track there. This is a crazy final reverse grid race here, Jim. It's like the pinball wizardry has migrated from Monza to Talon Bend.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, did somebody drop in the Monza footage? What happened?
Like someone had got Doc Brown saying, "Great Scott, Marty," and brought the story on for the ride, 88 miles an hour, and then pinball wizardry happens on the start-finish straight before some people have even made it to turn 1. Meantime, Alan McCain currently leading the pro classification. Matt Benson in P2, and they both round out the top 3. Matt Benson, this could really help him secure things. Simon McPhee, Joseph Lopez and Egol Sotiro are all in pit lane, which means that I think the way things could go is that McPhee could be picking up the title. McCain and DeGrand side by side into the braking zone, and this is going to be for turn 6. McCain up the inside, new race leader after 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, Jake ran just a little bit wide there, but I think he was more than anything just, realize that this isn't my fight. Let me just do my thing, and this isn't my fight. But then he kind of, sometimes when you do that, you end up oversteering the car or something, and he ran a little wide there, wider than he wanted, I'm sure. This is great, But look at this battle back here, would you?
That's got Daniel, that's got who? John Johnson at the front of it.
Yeah.
Daniel Wareham nearly had a bit of a wiggle there. He's going to try and dive up the inside of Lee Martin if he decides to do so through here. It's
big curb.
That was definitely Knight Rider David Hasselhoff style kick going into D mode right there. But this is allowing Wareham to carry the momentum through the corner. Could this be 3 wide? Hang on a second. Keep your eyes on Forster. Where's he going to put the car? Could we be 4 wide into turn 1? Not quite under braking. But Wareham gets the touch. Wareham gets a touch from Martin as he went under braking into T1, but he still got through, got 2 for the price of 1. And now he is in commanding fashion ahead of possibly picking up the pro title in around about 22 minutes time.
that was some fantastic car control from him, because he got a pretty decent shot there on that quarter panel, and it got a hard wiggle, and these little cars can get out of shape on you. Oh, here we got Foster moving up here on the inside of Martin. I mean, Johnson. I mean,
yeah, Johnston having to back out of it, and now Martin's going to come back at them. So, and Martin, I think, has just gone off the circuit slightly. Yeah, Lee Martin losing a lot of momentum there in comparison with John Johnston. But that looks like turns 5 and 6 of the Red Bull Ring there, that quick little complex. And Martin gets through on Johnston to now take 6th place overall. Matt Benson from Valhalla Motorsports is closing in on Alan McCain for the race lead. They come out of the final corner. So the driver in 2nd position, the 369 who started down in 9th position, is slingshotting past Alan McCain down the start-finish straight over the stripe and heading into T1. Benson with a new fastest lap, a 29.161. Hard on the brakes, Matt Benson, your new race leader, with a 5th of the race completed, nearly causes a problem by going wide out of turn 1, going into 2, and holds it back together to keep the lead at 3.
That was actually a crafty little move he did there. The way he kind of ran it a little wide there, which took McCain off his line just enough to let him finish his move. That was some fancy little racecraft right there. I liked it.
It was indeed, Mr. Cunningham. It was indeed, but the race is still very much far from over. We have just under 20 minutes to go, 19 and a half minutes remaining, and Matt Benson now leads the way as they go down the descent through 9 into 10, and then it's the run up to turn 11 coming up very, very shortly. And then where is Matt Benson going to brake? 65 metres before the corner, turns it in nice and neat. And yeah, I can see what you were talking about in the opening race, reference Matt Benson, that he's managing to hit the same marks every single time and keeping that consistency, which is helping with lap time as well. He's done the overall fastest. Well, he just... Oh dear. Well, he did a 129.161 on the previous tour. He's just done a 129.5. He was nearly 7 tenths quicker than Alan McCain. The gap is now but just over 4 tenths of a second. So he's made it from a 3/10 of a second disadvantage to a pendulum swing of 7 tenths, putting him over, well, it's now 3/4 of a second, Jim, and climbing. So Benson is looking to try and break away early.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been real aggressive today, just in general. One thing that struck me is Daniel Wareham is not moving up. He's not closing the gap really too much in front of him. In fact, it's actually growing a little bit. I wonder if the couple of little incidents he's been involved in have given him just a touch of damage, possibly. And, you know, he doesn't quite have everything in the car that he normally would have. But although that being said, he just closed it up a little bit right there. But maybe I jumped the gun on that. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, we've still got just under 18 minutes of the race still to go, Jim. But as they say never. A car could be slightly damaged, but the driver is still able to work around the problem. But if it's to do with suspension, steering, then you really are fighting a losing battle, especially if the car's not steering as you want it to. Matt Benson goes very wide coming out of turn number 12 as we complete lap 5 of this race, go on to lap 6. And Matt Benson, first driver to go under 128.937, but Daniel Wareham in 4th goes exactly 2 tenths of a second quicker to steal the fastest lap of the race with the 128.737 on the very same lap.
Like I said, he clearly doesn't. He's lost his speed. Clearly. Okay, yeah, I missed that a little bit.
He probably heard you, Jim, and just went, "I'm going to prove that man wrong. I'm going to prove him wrong." And by golly, did he do so! But at the moment, well, it's great to see that some of these drivers are listening to the stream as they're driving along.
Oh yeah, I had one the other night. We were running the webcams, and I popped in and said something about the guy's webcam, and sure enough, he wrecked right then. And he even admitted after the race that he was listening, and when he saw you know, I had his webcam on there. He glanced away for too long. You know, while we've got a second here, we've kind of got everybody kind of settled in right now. I would love to go back and take a look at that opening sequence, that 4 or 5 wide crash that we had, because ultimately that could play a big factor in this AM points battle because of the damage and everybody having to go to the pits and things like that. So let's go back and take a look at that real quick while we've got a second.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, we're actually on board with Michael Dolan. So you see that there's Satiro, and it's going to be a squeeze. Look, it's Joseph Lopez that initiates it, and he tagged
McPhee.
of McPhee. The right rear quarter panel got a little bit of a touch from the left front. You can see actually that he's got a right rear puncture as well. So there's the contact. Yep. So it damages the rim, pushes him into Satiro, then Simon McPhee also, well, lucky enough, Joseph Lopez was quick, or Michael Dolan, and good thing that Joseph Lopez was quick on the brakes there.
Yeah, that was interesting, and of course, you know, I don't know how, because McPhee and Lopez are up there, you know, battling for that points championship, so that could have, if that would have worked out negatively, you know, for one or the other, that could have caused a little bad blood, possibly.
Oh, Connor Pink, you're making me laugh now. Hold the brakes. Yes, Connor, we know that one. We know that one indeed, my friend. We
got us a backseat driver with a baby now.
Don't diss the man. Don't diss the man. Don't diss the man.
Oh, I love Connor. Connor's been great. Guy. Yeah, he's been great.
Don't forget, if you want to check out one of the new podcasts, it's on the virtual track, hosted by our very own James Parfitt itself. Connor has been one of the more recent guests, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe and do all that good stuff to make sure you're kept apprised. Of course, we've also got the Gale Best and Clark St. James GT3 Season 7 finale tomorrow night for round 8. It's going to be an absolute cracker. You'll be joining myself and James Parfitt on the broadcast for that one. But Michael Dolan trying to do what he can to close in on Lee Martin. Meantime, Lopez is only ahead by 1 position in front of McPhee. It's not going to be enough, possibly, for Lopez to steal the crown from under Simon McPhee's nose. But there is our resident Dachshund lover with the livery that he also has on the McLaren 720 SGT3 on the Gale Best and Clark St. James grid. So,
I love that Zoomies livery too. I'm a dog lover, obviously, but man, I love that little Zoomies livery he's got going on.
Yeah, we definitely saw some Zoomies from him last week at Monza Historic.
Did I miss this? Hold on, see if did I miss some action here somewhere?
Egg off Satiro, so this is going to be with the 214 of Simon McPhee. So this will be Satiro nearly got into the rear end. Connor says, "You know me, Jim. Always got an opinion."
Oh, that's good.
But Connor, you're always entitled to it. You're always entitled to it. So we're not going to hold that against you.
We all have opinions as soon as our wife gives them to us. Actually, you should be in good shape now. She's not pregnant anymore. You should be. Things should be happy around your household these days.
All I'm just going to say is postpartum. That can be a very, very difficult stage. My sister has experienced it. I mean, I'm single with no dependents, no children. So, but I can understand from what friends, family have gone through. So, just make sure that Sophie, you always keep Sophie on her good side, Connor.
Make sure she has plenty of KFC. She loves. Apparently, she loves Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, just make sure that she's well catered for on that front, my friend. Egolf Cicero has now ended up pulling into pit road here, Jim, as we are past the halfway point. But things are looking really, really good for Daniel Wareham because he is still only 1 place ahead of Dan Forster, and that's exactly what he needs. He does not need to finish the race as the winner, but, well, a driver will always want to finish a title campaign. If they're going to secure it, they want to secure it with a victory.
Yeah, indeed. But in this particular case, I'm sure that he's more than happy to ride around here in 3rd place and collect his championship.
Yeah, so there is the man from Simtech, the number 373, started on the final round, the final spot on the grid as we went full reverse grid for race 2 here at the Bend Motorsports Park. Of course, Shell V-Power, one of the title sponsors for Dick Johnson Racing, that have an association with the captain, Mr. Roger Penske himself, over in the Repco Australia's Supercar Championship, which still to this very day enjoys a lot of global coverage. And of course, now that Chevrolet Racing with the Camaro ZL1 is now on that grid as well with the Ford Mustang, and also just goes to show that that championship is going to be ramping up, because Toyota with the GR Supra will make its debut, I think it's next season, with Walkinshaw Andretti United. That's the partnership between TWR, run by the Walkinshaw family. Also Andretti Autosport, no longer led by the son of legendary racer Mario Andretti, Michael, but also now the United in that is United Autosports, run by a man that just so happens to be one of the top dogs at McLaren, Mr. Zach Brown. So that's going to be an interesting side of things when Toyota joins Chevy and Ford on the grid very, very soon. But Daniel Wareham, in the meantime, has slowly, like a stealthy ninja in the middle of the night, closed up onto Alan McCain, pulls to the inside here at turn 1, and he's through for second position. Now he can try and see if he can, Alan McCain is going to run him a little bit wide through into turn 2, Wareham through into the inside here at 3. McCain's still trying to push it around the outside of turn 3. Then it's going to be the run through here into 4. McCain's going to get the run through into 5 on the inside line through the fast left-hand kink. But then Wareham will have the run into turn 6 coming up very, very shortly. Wareham is trying to give no real room for McCain to turn across the front of him. They go through. McCain runs wide and is still going to use the runoff area to carry the power through and the momentum thereof to stay in second position. So a nice little inter-Simtech battle, but it's not the one that we were seeing quite figuratively front and centre in race 1, Jim, between Messrs Wareham and Forster.
Yeah, no, but that was still, this is, you know what, my opinion, like somebody, I think Connor may have said something earlier about this being a draft fest track or whatever. You know what, though, the way these turns are laid out, it kind of lends itself to that side-by-side battle, you know, like if you're side-by-side, one guy's got an advantage, then the next guy does, so it's kind of back and forth. It actually makes for some really exciting action.
It does, because this is very much a circuit in its current configuration of 2.119 miles and 12 turns. You know, you get this long draft fest down the start-finish straight, but then you also get, you know, the consistency of momentum, you know, carrying speed through the corners, making sure that you nail the apexes, braking points, and also coming out of the corners with the power down. So I think Wareham is, with 8 minutes to go, he's going to have a little bit of fun, I think, with Alan McCain to round off the season, to give Alan a little bit of fright here or there as they go hard on the brakes into turn 6. On the inside, onto the sausage curb again goes Wareham. McCain this time, he's trying to do what he can, but can Wareham pin it around the outside? Here at turn 8 and into 9, he's on the gravel. Oh, he nearly got it on. He nearly got it on. They go through into turn 10. And this could be Wareham's opportunity. Can he get through on McCain into turn 11 and turn 12? Hard on the brakes into 11. Down the dip they go here on lap number 12. And McCain still has Wareham's number very much on a post-it note.
Yeah, this is great. You know, this is really the first time all season that we've seen Wareham have any real serious battles. I mean, he seems like he's having fun, knowing that the championship is probably locked up, or is locked up at this point, I guess. It's really good to see him out there, you know, playing around and just having a little more fun.
Yeah, so again, the two interlocked into battle. Oh, ski mode there from McCain. Nearly gave the opportunity for Wareham to get through. and Wareham just latching onto the rear of him as they go through into turn 5. McCain says no. Yeah, or as I like to say, no, sunshine, you got to do better than that to get past me. And now, here we go. Wareham to the outside, through into 6. Can he get the crossover? Not quite. Not a run wide there from McCain this point. Through into 7. And he's right on the bumper. Is he going to dive through into turn 8? Oh, this could be the opportunity. Wareham is the move done. Nicely teed up there from the man in the 373.
Oh, then he runs off track. And here he ran off track, and here comes McCain again.
And this time it's going to be through into turn number 11. And still, folks, we have got 5.5 minutes remaining, and Wareham is back through again for second. Meantime, Matt Benson, 4.1 seconds up the road, goes across the line to complete lap number 13. Alan McCain on the flashers, saying to Wareham, don't forget about me behind you, sunshine, as it's a bump draft fest down the long start finish straight here at the Bend Motorsports Park in Talon Bend, 100 kilometres south of Adelaide, the state capital of southern Australia. And Wareham still holds his nerve, holds his line, and remains in second position at the moment. 4.1 seconds behind Valhalla Motorsports' Matt Benson, who is looking to cap off his campaign with a race victory here in a land down under.
Yeah, you can, as you said, the Valhalla Motorsports entry, he's got that Viking ship on the side of his car, and at this point he's using it because he's just sailing off to a victory here. He is building that lead as these two battle back here, which I'm perfectly okay with because this is some great action, and I'm personally, whoa, where I've got it big time on two wheels right there. I'm really enjoying this, so... But Benson is sailing off to glory there.
Yeah, the way that these two are battling away, it's meant that Benson's gathered another 0.4 of a second up the road. So he's 4.4 seconds up the road now, rather than 4.5 through out of turn number 11. Goes second and third. Forster is starting to slowly but surely catch them. He's 2.5 seconds behind as we run on board the roof cam of the 373 from Simtech. Daniel Wareham, he knows that he's not got long until he crosses that line in the position that he's in. He's 2 places ahead of chief rival Dan Forster, who is now seeing the pro title ebb away from his grasp at the dying moments of this Only Hands GR86 season here at the Bend Motorsports Park. The West variation here in southern Australia. A bit of a run wide there from Wareham, but it still doesn't stop him from putting the hammer down out of turn 4. Now into turn 5, the sweeping left-hander, then it's the short run up to the hard braking zone, and then it's a 120-degree right-hander here at turn number 6. Just going to measure it rather nicely. 3 minutes to go, and I would imagine, well, we're coming towards the end of lap number 15, so I would probably think by the next time that Matt Benson crosses the line, he is very soon going to be heading into turn number 11. We could be on the cusp here of getting, well, it's going to be, yeah, that is turn 11 he's gone down through now, into turn 12. Then it's round into turn number 12 as we speak. 2 laps to go before the conclusion of the season, and Matt Benson is powering away to victory. Daniel Wareham, pro champion-elect, 4.5 seconds behind in P2. Alan McCain rounding out the top 3. And despite the best efforts of Joseph Lopez, Simon McPhee, even though he might finish 5th tonight here in this feature race, he will more than likely become your AM champion here for Only Hands GR86 Challenge Cup action in South Australia. More to the point, McCain has been dropped by Wareham, and the gap is expanding. It's the 2.5 tier, Jim, with 2 minutes on the timer to go.
Yeah, this is by far the biggest gap we've seen between these two all race. Yeah, I think there was a series of a couple of just little minor, mistakes, and it's allowed Wareham to kind of pull that gap a little bit on him. But we do have a battle back here for the lead in the AM class with Michael Dolan and Jake Grand.
Yeah, so at the moment, well, Mickey Dolan not ahead of Jake DeGrand. They were split by 22 points coming into the final 2 races of the season. But whoever takes the victory in this one, they certainly will have well deserved it, despite the fact that Mickey Dolan was finding himself pointing towards the left-hand side of the circuit by the pit lane exit, with nearly having Joseph Lopez T-boning him after that multi-car incident that Lopez unfortunately made the initial contact, and thereby that being all she wrote for Joseph Lopez's possible hopes at a race win. Jake DeGrand goes off out of turn 11, and more to the point, we are coming down to the final lap of this race. The leader has already started it as Michael Dolan goes wide coming out of turn 12. Jake DeGrand back through on the start-finish straight.
Oh, these two here getting after it.
Oh yeah, get it done, as they would say. But more to the point, Daniel Wareham is nearly 50% of the way through this 17th and final lap, and he now knows that despite all challenges, he will be the one that is going to take the top honour in the pro category of this season. Jake DeGrand goes wide. Oh, out of turn 4 goes rally crossing on the Joker lap, and Michael Dolan back through to take the AM lead at turn 5. But let's see if we can concentrate on our race leader at the moment. There's second and third, Daniel Wareham and Alan McCain, but there is Matt Benson, who's making his way down into turn 12 for the final time. The timer expires. Benson from Valhalla Motorsports picks up the win in the final race of the season. But out of the final corner, your pro champion for only hands GR86, it's Daniel Wareham.
Fantastic stuff there, man. Fantastic. What a great action to finish off this season with.
Indeed. Lee Martin comes across the line to finish 5th. It's going to be a win for Mickey Dolan in the number 257. Jake DeGrand rounds out P2. Third is going to go the way of John Johnston. But the man that we're waiting for at the moment is going to be the last one to cross the line. There's John Johnston for Tanso. He comes across the line to finish in 8th. Got a little bit of a wait now, but it's Joseph Lopez, Mr. Zoomies himself. He's making his way down out of turn number 11. He was very, very close to Simon McPhee. The gap was not that much between the pair. He will come out of the final corner. He will be the runner-up this season by my provisional calculations, but it is going to be one man that will come across the line, be the last classified driver. It is going to be the 214. Simon McPhee, by my provisional calculations, will become the Only Hands GR86 AM champion.
Congratulations, man. That was, again, what a great final race to close out this season with. Such fun, good action the whole way. All right, let's take a look here at our final results.
Yep, so Matt Benson for Valhalla Motorsport shouts Crom and gets the victory by 4.1 seconds. Ahead of Daniel Wareham, Alan McCain rounds out the top 3 overall ahead of Dan Forster and Lee Martin. Daniel Wareham provisionally your Only Hands GR86 Pro Champion. Mickey Dolan picks up the win in the last race of the season ahead of Jake DeGrand, John Johnston, Joseph Lopez, and I think Simon McPhee provisionally has picked up the title in the AM classification. Even though he finished down in 5th, he finished, more importantly, one place behind Joseph Lopez. Could that have made the difference? As Egolf Sotiro, unfortunately, would retire 10 laps from the end of the race. Well, what could you say, Jim? I'm all out of puff right now. I think I might be speechless in a minute.
Yeah, that was what a fantastic race that was. Let's see. Do we have anybody over here?
We do indeed. Yeah. We do indeed. Let's bring him in. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Daniel Wareham. Good evening.
Hello. How are you?
Not too bad. I think I've made some calculations, and by your efforts tonight, I think you've just wrapped up the Only Hands GR86 Pro title, my good man.
Oh, very nice. There is a little bit of hee-ho with it all. That we don't know what the points are right now. There's been a mistake last week, I think.
Yeah, but I think with the amount that you actually had over Dan, I think you've probably taken the title, which is why I said the word provisional. But you did more than enough. I mean, the battle we saw between you and Dan and Matt in the opening race was an absolute cliffhanger here at the Bend. I mean, it's a little bit of a hidden gem, this circuit, isn't it? But you did have a bit of a Code Brown moment with Lee Martin going into turn one here on race 2, didn't you? Yeah, it was like I might need to check my underpants after that.
I don't need to. I know what's in them.
Oh, they're fully loaded already. There we go. Well, less of that said, the better. But it is. You know, I thought Dan Forster might have been maybe. He might have used his guts and his set downstairs to go right. Can we make it 4 wide? There was more than enough room, I think, to make it 5 wide. But luckily enough, he didn't go through. But you got 2 for the price of 1. And that was a great little bit of slipstreaming between you, John, Lee, and Dan there, wasn't it?
At the beginning of this race, the second race.
Yeah, second race.
Oh man. Well, I don't want to. No, John was slowing us down a real lot, and I think that's what's caused me to only get P2. To be fair. It is what it is. Yeah, it was braking really early on the corners and catching me out. I was in the car up front and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, but still, he doesn't get much time behind the wheel though. So it's not his fault. Not his fault at all.
We all have busy lives to lead anyway. But how are you feeling after getting the 2 races out of the way and concluding the season on a high with the win in race 1 and race 2, second place, buddy?
All good, man. All good, thanks. Yeah.
So the only thing I want to add in here is, all season you and Dan have, you pretty much, Dan, you've come back and waited on Dan to catch up, and then y'all have drafted around the track and stuff. It was really fun to see you two, see you two let your hair down and actually race each other tonight a little bit. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Well, he's getting a lot stronger just recently, and he's getting a little bit more braver, and we have to keep my eye on him now. I've known Dan for about 2 or 3 years now, and I've always said to him, you need to stop being a little bit more cautious and just go for the moves. And I think he's starting to listen to that now and actually start going for them. And he's a quick lad anyway, so yeah, I have to keep my eye on him.
Indeed, yes.
Well, Dan, thanks so much for your time after the last 2 races of this season. Congratulations once again on the results. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, buddy?
All my family, anybody who's watching. As I know there's a few people are watching. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching and the support. Big shout out to my missus for letting me have time in the rig, as always. Yeah. Thanks very much. And you guys are doing a proper good job.
Dan, thanks very much, buddy, and we look forward to seeing you back out on track at some point. If not in the GR86, maybe, do you think you might decide to go on a GT3 adventure, maybe?
Can't drive them.
Well, that's a bit of a shame. Yeah. But, at least you're honest about it.
I'm only on a belt-driven wheel, and I don't know if it's something to do with that, but there's just no feel to the car at all. They're horrible. It's like... I don't know. It's like I'm driving on fresh air. There's nothing. Whereas with the GR, it talks to you. It tells you every single move that it's going to do and what you want it to do.
Well, Dan Wareham, well done tonight, buddy. Thanks for talking to us. I'm sure we'll see that for another season when that comes up.
Certainly. Yep. Catch you later, guys. Take care.
Cheers, Dan.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
So,
right. So
the lesson to take away from that is that guy is lightning fast, and he's driving on a belt-driven wheel. So the thought that you need to have expensive equipment to be fast is absolutely not true. So there you go. All right. So
exactly.
Who would you like next?
Let's go with Dan Forster.
All righty.
His teammate.
Yep.
So let's bring him in. Oh, you beat me to it.
Well,
Dan,
feel free.
Dan, Mr. Forster, good evening. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
Not too bad. Well, you've definitely been a bit more aggressive in these last few rounds here, I have to say. I mean, we were just talking to Mr. Wareham about that. You've really gotten into your stride in these GR86 cars, and we were really, really enjoying the battle between you and Dan in the opening race when you guys were, I think it was Alan McCain, and also Matt Benson trying to go for the race win as well.
Yeah, well, all four of us when we were in the Discord all shouting at each other. But I basically 2 weeks ago, I think I got a bit of stick for basically just following Dan round. But I was holding on to the back of him for dear life the entire time. And the commentators then said, oh, you should be going for moves. So I thought, right, this time I'll try and see if I can go for some moves. So I was doing, but that allowed Matt and Alan to catch up behind us. I don't know if you noticed. And then, so then we were like, oh, look in the mirror. We better stop doing this because them guys are catching up. We're going to have a four-way battle here. So, yeah, I was trying my best to go for some moves, but obviously without jeopardizing our race. So with us being teammates. So it was good fun.
And nevertheless, I think, we haven't had the official... well, hang on a second. Folks, by the magic of modern technology, I now have the results
I don't know,
for round 6. I know there is some... But I know that there are some mistakes. There's a little bit of an error, I think a clerical error that needs to be closed up. But Dan, you effectively are second in the championship in the pro class. So congratulations, first of all, on that front.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, like I say, we're going to review it and see. I think there might be a drop week question mark that might have been confusing things, but I don't really know. But either way, I had great fun, and we were just going for it and seeing what we could do.
So, well, of course, I'm sure that we'll when this championship goes back up again, I'm sure we'll see you fighting at the front end of the pro class as always, huh?
Well, I'm trying. I mean, I was barely at the front of the Pro-Am last season, so I'm quite surprised to come second in Pro this season. But, I'll just keep going and see what I can do,
Well, we'll let you go on and enjoy the rest of what's left of your Sunday evening before getting up tomorrow morning. But anyone you want to give a shout-out to before we let you go, buddy?
Yeah, well, thanks to Only Hands for sponsoring the season and Tanso for putting it up, and my wife and daughter who might watch the race afterwards, and... my teammates and you guys for broadcasting as usual.
Brilliant. Dan, thanks for your time, buddy. And we look forward to seeing you on track very, very soon indeed.
Yeah, see you next season. Cheers, guys.
Right, big thank you there to Dan Forster. Next up, let's bring in the man who definitely has a Viking connotation in his team name. Let's bring in Matt Benson, who picks up the last win of this season of Only Hands GR86. Well, Mr. Benson, welcome back to the post-race interview show. And firstly, congratulations on a good solid set of results here on the final round. P3 in race 1 and Victor in the final round of the season. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. That first race was a lot of fun. And then, after last week, I wasn't too excited for the bend because I hadn't run it at all, and immediately after that race session we hopped in, ran a few laps, and learned to love the track. So it paid off running a couple officials this week and doing some practice as well. It was a great race.
Yeah, I know that we're still waiting on official clarification reference the points. There's been talks of drop scores and maybe a couple of points incorrectly entered, but it looks like you're going to wrap up third provisionally in the pro category. So congratulations on that front, first of all.
Bueller? Oh, thank you. I don't know. My mic's not picking up. Apologies.
It's okay.
So I do have a question for you, Matt, since I've been doing a couple seasons now, this one, and then I did the OGRL season. And so I noticed you're running the Valhalla livery and Valhalla Motorsports. Is that your don't you do liveries? Don't you do liveries under the Valhalla name as well? Is that correct?
I don't make them, but I
okay.
run. There's probably 12 or 15 of us that have kind of grouped up over the past 2 years, just kind of made a team and started running. And some of the guys earlier today were doing the 3-hour endurance at Spa, and so just kind of good group of guys running together. Similar with Simtech.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Okay. I was just curious because I saw that there was, I've seen the Valhalla liveries thing and, of course, all the Valhalla Motorsports stuff. By the way, that is a super cool paint job that you've been running all year. I love it.
Don't get it too confused with the new Simtech one. I'm not going to say where they got their inspiration, but Daniel one day was like, "That's a beautiful livery," and then like 2 weeks later, they were like, "Hey, check out our new livery." I was like, "Where'd you get the inspiration for that?" But no, they made a great looking car too, and yeah, our guy, I think it's Darren or Tyler is the one that makes them from Valhalla, and I mean every single car. They've done all the GT3s, the GTPs, anything and everything, and it's like y'all are saying, it's a stunning looking livery, and it's a lot of fun to race in.
Indeed, yeah. Go. That's all I had. I just wanted to. I've been kind of curious all season about this Valhalla connection and how it all tied together. So I wanted to take the opportunity to ask.
Yeah, just outside group and love representing for it. It's a lot of fun. Always send the broadcast to the guys. So I know some of them are in the chats here and there, and they love watching them. They run a lot of GT3s, so trying to bring them into the GR86 game again. So we'll see what happens for the next few seasons.
Indeed, Matt. Thanks so much for your time, buddy. Appreciate you jumping in post race 2. But congratulations once again on the victory in the P3 in the respective races. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight?
My lovely girlfriend, my parents probably watching, and of course the Valhalla guys, and y'all as well for the broadcast. It's always, like I said last week, it's always a lot of fun to come back and watch them, hear all y'all's excitement and knowing where I was in the race and what was going on in my head, and then hearing it from y'all. So thanks for the broadcast, and good to be here again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Matt. We look forward to seeing you trackside very, very soon, buddy.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
And, well, we couldn't finish off the show without Mr. Zoomies himself, Joseph Lopez. Welcome into the broadcast booth, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. I'm doing all right.
Well, all I can say is the Zoomies livery stayed intact after that big old Code Brown moment. At the start of race 2, it was 4 trying to go into 1, and we had pinball wizardry like we had at Monza Historic last week. But you still managed to get it across the line, fourth in the second race. It's been very nip and tuck. I know that there's we think that provisionally that Simon has wrapped up the championship, but you, I have to say, have been a very gallant runner-up in the Only Hands GR86 series. But how are you feeling after what has been a bit of a topsy-turvy day in the office, let's say, for the races here at the Bend?
Yeah, I just, I really hope that crash at the start wasn't my fault. I kind of looked at it a little bit and I was like, I don't know, but I felt bad when I realized who I crashed into. I was kind of glad that I had damage too, because I didn't want to just take off and win like that. So, it was that was a good race. But yeah, I really enjoyed the whole series. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and of course we'll see in action tomorrow night, won't we, for the season finale for the Gale Best and Clark St James GT3 Championship for season 7. Am I right?
Yep, that'll be good too.
Indeed. Well, we'll see your Zoomies livery back on the McLaren 720S GT3. But well done on your efforts all the way through the Only Hands GR86 series, and we look forward to. Well, I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go, Joseph?
Oh, just the normal people, my wife and my friends, Sean and Blake. And Connor.
Awesome.
Connor shouted out to me in the chat, so hey, what's up?
He did indeed, Mr. Newbie father to Axel. So congratulations once again to him and Sophie. So Joseph, we look catching up with you tomorrow for the Gale Best and Clark St James GT3 season finale tomorrow night.
All right. See you later, guys.
Well, great to hear from Mr. Zoomies himself. He will be back in action here on the JP Broadcasting Network. Jim, final thoughts before we wrap up the Only Hands GR86 series here at the Bend.
Great season, a lot of fun, good bunch of guys, and tonight was a great way to close it out. The action was phenomenal. so much fun.
Well, firstly, a few thank yous. A big thank you to you all watching at home. A big thank you to the main people behind this series, the Tanso Racing Group, and of course the title sponsors, Only Hands, who help people with disabilities use adaptions for steering wheels. And I still remember the early days of when Team Brit were one of the first in real life motorsport teams to bring adaptions to modern day motorsport. A big thank you to all of them. A big thank you to the drivers that have competed and the teams as well over the course of this series. Of course, keep your ears and eyes to the ground as to when the GR86 Challenge Cup will continue, and hopefully more than likely it will be here on the JP Broadcasting Network. This has been, more to the point, a JP Broadcasting Network production. We've been absolutely privileged to cover this season, and you've been in the company of Jim Cunningham, my colour commentator, and also the man providing the broadcast for tonight. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and as always, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow here on the JP Broadcasting Network for Gale Best and Clark St. James GT3 season finale for number 7 tomorrow. But nevertheless, if you want a bit of single-seater action, turn over to our channel and have a look at IGP Fun taking place right now. Good night.